Good day. Today in this PowerPoint presentation, we're going to talk about phylum Chordata, which is lesson 3. In this lesson, we're going to talk about some objectives that include what are chordates, what are the characteristics of vertebrates, what are the 5 major groups of vertebrates. If you look at this image here, we can see the different groups of vertebrates. We have here the mammals, we have here the fish, we have birds, we have amphibians, and we have reptiles. In the coming slides, we're going to talk about the details of these groups and what characteristics they have. So, the 5 major groups: fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So first, we will start talking about the characteristics of chordates. When I say chordates, I'm talking about the vertebrate animal. When I say vertebrate, it means the animals that have a backbone. Because if you still remember from the previous lesson, we said one way to classify an animal is to check the presence or absence of a backbone. Okay, so what are those characteristics? Chordate is an animal that has a notochord, which is a flexible rod-shaped structure that supports the body. We have the nerve cord that will develop later on into a central nervous system. We have a tail, and we have the pharyngeal pouches that is found between the mouth and the digestive system. So here, these 4 characteristics are found in the embryonic chordate. We can see here the tail, we have the notochord, the nerve cord, and the pharyngeal pouches that are found between the mouth and the digestive system. So again, if I ask you the simple question, what are the characteristics of chordates? You should know that they have a notochord, they have a nerve cord, they have a tail, and they have pharyngeal pouches. Okay? So we should know that most chordates are vertebrates, but here there is a part that is invertebrate. So we have invertebrate chordate that include 2 groups that are tunicates and lancelets. And the vertebrate chordate, we have 5 major groups. We mentioned them earlier before: the fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Okay? So later on, you would be able to know that the notochord develops into a backbone during the growth of an embryo in humans. Now, if we talk about the invertebrate chordate, we said we have 2 examples, the lancelets and tunicates. What are the general characteristics they have? They rarely grow more than a few centimeters long, and they live in salt water. Here we can see a lancelet in this image, and here we can see the anatomy of it, showing you the 4 different characteristics: a notochord, a tail, okay, pharyngeal slits or pouches, and we have the nerve cord. So this is lancelet. Okay, now I will show you also a tunicate. This image here showing you how the tunicate looks like. Also, if you want to see the anatomy for it, you will be able to see that it also have the 4 characteristics of chordate. The next part of the lesson are the general characteristics of vertebrates, or that are known as chordates, vertebrate chordates. So what are the general characteristics of vertebrates? We should know that all have what? A backbone. Okay? So all of them have a backbone. The backbone is made up of bones. Each bone is known as vertebrae. Okay, this bone is known as vertebrae. The backbone have other names like the spinal column, or we can simply say spine. Okay, so the backbone we can also say spinal column or spine. If you want to check, you can just put your hand on your back of the neck. Okay, you will feel the bones, okay, on the back of your neck, and these are part of your vertebrae. It surrounds and protects the nerve cord. The nerve cord, okay, has another name, spinal cord, which is responsible for the transmitting the messages from the body to the brain and vice versa. The spinal cord, it connects the nerves, okay, in the body to the brain. As we mentioned, the bones are called vertebrae, okay. Another characteristics that vertebrates have are that they have well-developed organ system, okay. So we know that in our body we have different organ system, like the digestive system that is needed for digesting the food, circulatory system for the movement of the blood, respiratory system for breathing, the nervous system to send for sensation, so and sending messages throughout the body. Okay, so those are the general characteristics of vertebrates. Next, we can start talking about the different groups. We said we have 5 major groups. The first group is fish. Okay, when I say fish, I don't think that any of you have a problem in identifying a fish. Okay, the fish have 2 important characteristics in common, which are they have gills, okay, and they have paired fins needed for swimming. Okay, the gills, fish needs it for absorbing oxygen, okay, the oxygen gas from water, so that they are able to live. Now, the image here showing you the gills and the fins the fish have. There are 3 classes of a fish. We have the jawless fish, we have the cartilaginous fish, and we have the bony fish. Okay, so what are some characteristics of these classes? So first, if we look at this table here, we can see the 3 different classes: the jawless, the cartilaginous, and the bony fish. The jawless, we have the hagfish and the lampreys. It's an lamprey, example of the jawless fish. When I say jawless, it means they don't have a jaw. Okay, so they don't have a jaw. They have no jaws. Their internal structure is made of fibrous tissues called cartilage. Okay, same thing for the cartilaginous fish. They also have fibrous tissues called cartilage. Okay, now the cartilaginous fish includes sharks, skates, and ray. Here we can see the shark. They have a skeleton made of tough, hard, fibrous tissues called cartilage, and also their internal structure is made up of same type of tissues, which is the cartilage. Okay, the third class of fish is the bony. Example: guppies, trout, and tuna. Here is his example showing you the tuna. They don't have a cartilaginous skeleton. Instead of that, they have bones. Okay, that's why they are known as bony fish. Next, we will talk about amphibians. When I talk about amphibians, I'm talking about frogs, toads, salamanders. Those belong to class amphibia. Okay. Here we can see that a frog lay eggs. Those eggs are not covered by a shell, so they don't have a shell. The shell is a hard protective covering, okay, that protects the egg. But the eggs of the frog, they don't have shells, okay. Their eggs are laid in moist environment, example the ponds. Now, when I say amphibian, I'm talking about animals that spend part of their lives in water and the second part on land. Okay, so in water, it means they need a structure that helps them to survive. That's why the young live in water and they have gills. And the second part on land, so the adult will develop lungs. Okay, so the adult will develop what? Lungs, so that this lung will help them to survive on land. Okay. The bodies changes as they grow older. So if you look at the life cycle of a frog, we can see it changes from an egg to tadpole, then to young frog, then to an adult frog. So those changes the frog goes through. Here also showing you the life cycle of a salamander, also showing you that there's a change in the shape, how it grows. Okay. Amphibians, they have a skeleton that is made up of bone. Almost all have legs for movement. So the legs, they use it for movement. Their skin is smooth and moist, okay? And they have 3-chambered heart. When I say 3-chambered heart, it means they have 3 rooms. So if we look at this image here, we can see simply there is 3 separated chambers. This is 1, this is 2, and this is the 3rd one. So we have right atrium, ventricle, and left atrium. Okay, here in this image showing you how the air goes through the heart and how the blood goes through the heart. Okay, here from the body, and then it goes inside, then it goes to the body, lungs, and to the skin. Okay. Next, we will talk about reptiles. When I say reptiles, I'm talking about lizards, snakes, turtles, crocodiles, alligators, and so on. Okay. What are the different characteristics that reptiles have? So first, they lay fluid-filled eggs with leathery shell. So first, they have egg that is covered, okay, with a shell. This is 1. 2, the eggs are not laid in water. Okay, this is another difference between reptiles and amphibians. Another difference that their young do not change as they mature into adults. So the young look like the adult. Okay, their skin is covered by scales. You can see here the skin is covered by scales. Okay, and it is waterproof skin. A similarity that they have a 3-chambered heart. Okay, here showing you 1, and here 2, and this is the 3rd one. Okay, they have another difference is that they have lungs throughout their life cycle. So they don't have gills when they are young. Okay. Another group, we have birds. So birds, if you can see here, bird. Okay, this is a bird. What is special about birds? Birds, they make nests for laying their eggs. Okay, they have unique calls or songs. That's why we can hear different calls made by the birds. They have lightweight bones. Okay, so their bones have lightweight, so that they help them to fly. Okay, if they have heavy bones, it will be hard for them to fly. So their bones are hollow, empty from inside. Their skin is covered with feathers and scales. Okay, so they can fly. They have stiff feather that enables them to move through the air. Now, if you know, we have some types of birds that spend time in water. Those birds, they have an oil gland. This oil gland helps them to keep help water roll off their feather, so the water don't stick inside the body or the feather, and it will be very difficult for it to fly. They do not chew their food. Okay, so they don't have teeth. They have what here? A beak. Okay, their digestive system include gizzard. Okay, so what is a gizzard? If you look at the image here, we can see the gizzard. Okay, the gizzard is part of the digestive system. It is an organ The function for it is to grind, okay, the food into smaller pieces so that it can be digested. Okay. Now, another difference we can find between bird and other groups is that they have a 4-chambered heart. So they have 4-chambered heart. So they have right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. Now their eggs is also fluid-filled eggs with hard shell. So they have a protective covering around their eggs. They also feed their young and care for them. Okay, so those are the general characteristics for birds. Okay. The next group is mammals, which is the last group in chordates, vertebrates. Okay. Mammals include dogs, cats, goats, rats, seals, and so on, and also humans. Okay. Some characteristics: they have hair or fur covering their bodies. Now, we know that mammals, they have teeth. Okay. So they will tear and chew their food. Okay. They have a complete digestive system. If you still remember from the previous lesson, we said complete digestive system, it includes both mouth and anus. Okay. The anus for excretion of the digested food, the ones that is not needed by the body. They have a complex nervous system that includes the brain. Okay, and they have a mammary gland. The mammary gland, okay, so mammals, mammary gland. What's the function for it? It is needed for producing milk. The milk is used to feed young mammals. Now, many mammals have what? They're young, they don't lay eggs. Okay, here, example, the cow, it doesn't lay egg. What they give birth. Okay. So they have a live young. Okay. But we should know that there are few species, like here the duck-billed platypus, they are able to lay eggs. We should know that mammals also have 4-chambered heart. Okay. This is something for your knowledge. This is our lesson. If you have any questions, you just inbox us and we will reply as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a nice day.